It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. A Tale of Two Cities. Never read it, but apparently it's really good. So hi and welcome everyone. This is Beans Above the Throne podcast. Stu's already started laughing.
Hello, I'm Stu.
And this is our new podcast. We're going to be two guys talking smack about whack on the net. We don't know what we're going to do. We don't know what we're going to talk about. It's going to be a random, wonderful conversation every week. We want you to join us. We want you to take part by listening. Don't say anything, just listen. We love a captive audience, one that doesn't say anything. So, since we haven't got an itinerary, I'm going to start by saying, Stu, sir, how are you?
I'm good. I cannot take you seriously when you're talking like that. You sound like
Don't take me seriously.
I'm trying, but it's just the way you sound like one of my old school teachers.
That's the point.
You're just like, no, sit in the corner, take your clothes off. No. I tell you, that just reminds me, I know we're going to follow into something, but someone that I work with basically was saying about how his teacher was really weird, that one day that they all went swimming and his teacher hid his trousers, right? And
his own trousers.
No,
like, oh, sorry,
hid like my mate's trousers, and then basically was sitting in a cubicle, like comforting him, just sitting there with no trousers on. And he was like really upset, and then all of a sudden, like half an hour later, he went for a search for the trousers, found them, came back, and then found out 7-8 years later that he was a paedophile.
Right, so he was
convicted.
This monster.
Yeah,
wow.
But he seems to take it really well. But every time he says that story, I can just kind of see like the sides of his face just kind of twitch, as if something's not quite. He hasn't quite gotten over it yet.
Well, at least he was only comforting him, like that. I mean, it could have been a lot worse.
Well, yeah,
a lot worse.
He could have been basically just trying to feed his camel a cashew. That was a term that just, if I wasn't going to use it, it was going to break my heart. So
can you break down that term for me? Because I'm not entirely sure everyone understands what it means.
Okay, feeding a camel a cashew. It's like, if you imagine, if you're like, all the people that are listening now, if you're kind of sitting down, get your arm.
Close your eyes, everyone. Yeah.
Well, no, you kind of need to see the hand
unless
as you're
driving.
So take one of your hands out, either one, doesn't matter. Turn it like out in front of you. Turn it over so you're making like a cupping motion, right? As if you've got like a few seeds in there or a few cashew nuts, right? Okay, but then put it down to waist height and then just move it forward, right? As if you're feeding a tiny donkey some cashews, right? But instead, you're not feeding a donkey, you're feeding a camel. And another sort of really bad word for a vagina is a camel toe. So if you're feeding a camel a cashew nut, you're just kind of...
camel toe's bad.
Moose knuckle. Yeah, I know. King Kong's knuckles. But yeah, that's what you should do.
Oh my God, man, there's more knuckle than body.
Have you seen that Family Guy thing? Has that pig got fists? And he just smacks the floor and goes oink.
Tell me what.
Here's a question for you, right? I just read up in here. And I think you quite like. What inanimate object do you wish you could eliminate from existence? Just one thing that you could just.
Oh.
Is it fidget spinners? Is it I don't know?
No.
Like, is there something that you would be like? Do you know what? That thing can go to hell.
Wow, there's many things.
There's got to be one more than everything else, though.
For me, there's a few, but clams.
Just clams.
Dead clams, because there'll be clams. I don't like clams.
What? That's the thing that you would get rid of?
I think so. I'm not going to say guns.
Oh no! Do you know what? That's probably the safest, like the nicest thing to say.
Yeah, but there's always rocket launchers and knives.
Yeah.
So,
I was thinking more like protruding door handles.
Really?
Yeah, because the amount of times that I've walked past them and then like the door handle will catch on like a belt loop or a pocket.
Okay,
and then I'll rip trousers.
The door when you need to pull that door
No,
open,
you would move it to things like touch panels and things like that. The technology should move forward, and then door handles in general should then be eliminated from existence for eternity.
No, I tell you what.
Or motion sensors like Star Trek.
Yeah, but that requires power, and if the power goes out, it's game over. You'd be stuck in that closet forever.
I've been stuck in that closet for a few years.
Now, I'll tell you what should be eliminated. Wall plugs that are on the floor. facing up.
Or upturned plugs.
Yeah, upturned plugs on the floor.
That sounds like a man from experience.
Oh, I've stepped on enough plugs in my time. I've knelt on a plug before. And at that point, I wanted to anthropomorphize that plug into a person and kill it.
But just for causing you so much pain.
Yeah, I wanted to turn it into, I don't know, Freddy. Freddy, you fucker, Freddy! And then hit it. Stop it, Freddy! I hate you, Freddy.
Freddy
I wish the plug had emotions. Don't hit me, Alan, don't hit me!
Do you ever do that with like something that doesn't work as well? Like whether it's like electronics or something, you just want to grab like PlayStation pads. As soon as you lose on that, you just blame the peripherals, and you're just like trying to bend it, and then you're biting it, and you're like, you bastards!
Yeah, well, you know from experience, from me, what I do to controllers. You know, they're just...
No, I don't. I don't know what you do to controllers. All I do, but...
Xbox 360 Black Ops about 10 years ago.
What did you used to do?
I used to twist them till I could hear the creaking. And I'd be like, right, they're creaking now, but that's not enough. And then my arm would start to shake. And I'd smash it against the floor repeatedly until one of the handles would come off. And that wasn't enough. So when it was smashed up like that, I could then get my fingers into the insides between the PCB and pry it open.
Just so that pad will never cause anyone any pain again.
Yeah, because it caused me enough. What I wanted to do is reach through the internet digitally, grab the little shit that was talking king smack, going, ow, yeah, you know, your mum. You shit at Black Ops because your mum told me. And I wanted to just grab him by the throat and then repeatedly hit him into his television. Like repeatedly until it smashed.
That's the thing about kids playing games. Like they have no sort of element of consequence. They will sit there and they will say anything because they like the worst insults are not if some kid sits there and goes, oh, you're a dickhead or something like that. Or it's when they sit there and say things like, oh, you're shit, as you said just now, you're shit because your mum, and then they'll laugh at it thinking it's funny, and it's not funny, and then it kind of adds insult to injury, and they're just like, oh yeah, you're shit at this because you're gay, and you're like, that's not a fucking insult.
Yeah, exactly. And what pissed me off the most is I was like, Black Ops is a fucking 18. Get off.
My most memorable like Black Ops experience. Do you know what? I don't know if it was Black Ops or Modern Warfare, but this is the unimportant bit. That someone was like really talking shit to me, and I was just really quiet. And then for some reason, I just saw red to the point where I was like, "Why have you got an Xbox?" Oh, my mum bought it for me. Yes, because your mum is having sex with a fucking kebab shop man, and she doesn't want to give you attention. You fucking cunt.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, and then he went off crying and got his mum. I was just like, you know what? I'm not having this conversation with you. If you heard, like, your child has taught me so much about my gran and my mother that I didn't even know. So, the real bad part in this is the fact that you're allowing your son to learn these sort of words and say them to random people on the internet. And I got so angry with it.
What did the mother say?
Oh, no, she's just like, oh, get off the game. And I was like, I am of age to play this game.
Yeah, exactly.
How old is your son? That's not the point. I've let him play this game. Well, give a shit. Take his mic away.
No,
because he'll say that to the wrong person, and they will smash his fucking face in.
Yeah, it's an 18, right? So people like swear because I would like be fucking swearing on it, and then I hear someone go, "Oh, that guy's swearing on there. Tell him to get the fuck off." Right? So not only have they strung a sentence together with swearing as a justification, but the fact that yes, an 18 people swear when they're adults and children. So if you don't like it, get them to play fucking Minecraft.
It's like now the most recent sort of fad. Well, I say the most recent, but Fortnite is the most recent one. But the one sort of that's underneath everything is that Roblox. That Roblox thing. People are making sex dungeons on it, and it was all through the news that basically, like, this mother saw that their kid entered a sex dungeon that's all made in Roblox, and there's these characters having sex in the game. Like, It was absolutely ridiculous. So it doesn't even matter what sort of age rating that you have on these games anymore. You know, someone will find a way to like go over that boundary. So as far as I could see, kids should just stay off video games. They should be just made for people that
go
can
on their
take
bikes
them.
and play.
Yeah, they should go
have
and
imagination.
eat some dirt like we all did.
That brings me to Memory Corner.
Memory Corner.
It's a new part of the podcast. Just made it up. Called Memory Corner. Memory Corner. Memory Corner. Memory Corner. That's the. I hope you've got. That's.
I'll make that the theme song for every time.
So, yeah, when I went to visit Poland to see one of my friends, we were visiting this castle. I think it was a castle, and we went underground. I was like, "Oh, we'll call him Tarquin." Right. Oh, Tarquin, isn't this a cool castle? And I was talking about the history of it. He's like, "You know what, Ali? This room here," and this was underground. He goes, "would make excellent fuck dungeon."
Wow.
And I was like, it's great. There's loads of history about this castle and, you know, what had happened in the wars and what it had been used for. And what he was thinking about is where he could put up his leather wheel of pleasure. Oh, it's superb.
He must have read you quite early, though, to be able to sit there and know that he would get a good reaction out of you.
Yeah, well, he got a good reaction out of the guide as well. They obviously knew English.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not Sex Dungeon.
Oh, I thought you said the guide said that.
No. My mate who I went to visit. No. Oh, that would have been priceless. And that was Memory Corner, Memory Corner, Memory Corner.
Okay, I've got a question for you here. Right. Because I'm reading up questions on my screen here. If you could start any kind of cult, what would it be? It could be anything. Okay. Any cult that you like.
You see, that's a question that needs thought. I need my thinking chair and my pipe and that.
All right.
I have a thinking chair.
We'll save that one for the thinking chair. Yeah, I'll highlight that one. Here's another one. I've asked you this question before, but I'm hoping that you've forgotten.
Okay.
So, first think of a product. Now, what would be the absolute worst brand name for one of those products?
Oh, right. Okay. Yes. So, I'm thinking of a different product, so I do remember this.
Okay.
So I'm thinking of fish fingers. Right.
Okay.
And
what's going on? Go on, spit it out. That's what my brand name would be. Come on, spit it out.
Oh, that was a bouncy one. That was a bouncy one.
Go on, fish fingers.
So, yeah, fish fingers, and the product name was something.
Come on,
it'd be something like clammy stink rods. No one would go, "Oh, do you want clammy stink rods and chips, please?" Oh, Captain Birdseye's got the best clammy stink rods. Only his stink rods will do. Oh, I got another bouncy one. Oh, God, that hit the wall, that one.
Can you imagine the adverts? Just Captain Birdseye comes in.
He's just
advertising Captain Birdseye's clammy stink fingers.
And he'd open the box, you'd hear the slap onto the plate. They'd go like that onto the plate. They'd pick them up and it'd already be like discharge. Like webbing from the stink rods onto the plate.
Oh my God. I was not expecting that.
"I think these need a clean before we put them in the oven."
Yeah, oh my God. I thought you were just going to go down the line of like vag fingers or something like that. Just something simple, short.
Because vag fingers is fine, but clammy stink rods. You never ever buy a product called that.
I remember going around Morrison's ages and ages ago. Other supermarkets are around, and they had genuinely right a product called Gentleman's Relish, and I'm sure it was like, I don't know if it was horseradish, but it was called Gentleman's Relish, and I'm going to find it.
Gentleman's Relish? No.
Yeah, it's a genuine product. Oh,
they had there is the classic pork faggots.
I've just got the picture up here. It's the Gentleman's Relish is an anchovy paste.
Oh wow, okay. Anchovy.
Neither the name or the product is appetizing to me.
Well, there was one thing I've seen by McVitie's, right? But it's not in this country, and it's called. They're like, right. Bear in mind, think of a McVitie's packet, yeah, pretty standard, and I think they're in Poland, and they were called Finger Marie, and they're like nice biscuits, I suppose, but they're called Finger Marie, and that's just great.
I just looked up worst product names because I thought this would be quite funny. And the very first one is an Alien versus Predator, like kids, like gloves. So you got like Predator hands, but the title of on actually printed on the card is Child Predator Hands.
Nice.
Nads is a natural hair removal gel. There's
Nads.
Yeah, Nads.
Right. So is that to go on your balls? Because that would make sense.
To go on anywhere. It's just hair removal cream.
Really? You want to put hair removal cream on your testes?
No, it's called Nads. It could be for your Nads if you want.
Oh, dearie.
There's a hot drink called Urinal. Bread rolls made by Juicy Pussy. Mr. Brain's pork faggots.
Obviously, you've got Nutella, and someone's redone the thing to put bum gravy.
Bum gravy.
Yeah, bum gravy. Oh god.
There's a type of herbal beauty soap called Placenta.
Oh god, it's so good.
Buster nut penetrating Teflon lube.
Haribo creamy dreams.
Pardon?
Considering they're for kids.
That's not real.
Haribo creamy dreams. Creamy dreams.
No way is that real.
Right. Have a look. Find it.
Oh god.
Look up Hostess hairy tasty pink balls. Seriously, that's as classy as we can get.
Wow, Hostess is the same brand that does like Twinkies and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's some good products. Like, I still prefer clammy stink rods.
Yeah, you'd never buy that. What about no more. I can't.
No, go on.
I think of like fajitas. Fajitas themselves. Kebabs. We'll go to kebabs. Kebabs do not look
appetizing at all.
Appetizing. It's like, so what could you call a kebab to actually do the opposite? To make it sound appetizing. Tasty processed spine meat. Because that's what it is. If you put tasty at the front, do you really want to eat spine meat?
I don't know. Like, it looks some kebabs, like especially the kebab in
apparently
in
most kebab meat contains 5% goat semen. Maybe that's
now. Where did you read
subline.
That? Where would you read something like that? It makes
sense because the testicles get crushed up with the rest of the animal. It's all the bobs, isn't it? So.
I'm sure there's people that are going to be like, yeah, I really like kebabs before this. Because now I'm put right off it. Because like, when you walk into a kebab shop and you're like, I'll have a beef, whatever one that they're stood up that's going around in their rotisserie, and they cut it off, and it looks like they're cutting off like an arm of a leather sofa. Like most of the times, it's so dry and so like, I don't know, it's just so unappetizing. But there's a reason why they make so much money. It's because usually it's drunk people. Drunk people don't give a shit what they're eating.
No, it's so cheap. Like for them to buy it.
Because how much do you reckon that whole like slab of meat costs?
Probably $9.99.
And they charge like £3 for a kebab.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure kebab isn't that skewers?
Yeah, technically you get grilled chicken kebab. It's not doner meat.
What is the worst name that you could ever call your child?
Right, now here's a good one. Man spots doner meat being transported like rolls of carpet in sweaty van. And there's a
Ugh.
picture of it. And it just looks like giant cut sausages in a van.
See,
It
that's one
basically
thing you
looks like
shouldn't do. If you like something, you
elephant
shouldn't
legs.
look it up on the internet.
Elephant legs cut off at the top, stuffed into the back of a van.
No way. No, I'm not up for that. That's so unappetizing, man.
Yeah, do you
I
want to see
like
the
elephants
picture?
too. No, I don't.
Okay.
Especially not now.
Okay,
So if you could name your child anything, like what is the least cool name or the worst name that you could call a child?
you see, with names, it always goes in kind of phases, doesn't it? So you get like fashionable names, and you don't get fashionable names. But I'd have to choose a name to be like, oh, I don't know. It'd probably be a two-barreled name, like Gaping Fanny. Because what are you going to call them? It's like if you can name your kid anything, you'd never name Gaping Fanny.
But yeah, but the thing is, though, some names they really like cut through because you sit there, you know, in, like for instance, like someone that you work with, you know, you just like, I'll do it. So that I'll work with someone like called Keith, right?
Keith, I know a few Keiths.
So Keith, you know Keith, yeah. You think, oh, Keith is cool. But then, can you just imagine them as a baby and their parents, like, oh, baby, little baby Keith, or Neil, or something like that? You know, so such unstereotypical baby names. Like, I find that's great. Like animal names are funny as well. Like some of the animal names that come up, like, you know, massive dogs called Tiny. I think they're all great. But it's names like that, you know, like Terence. You know, you just wouldn't imagine a baby to be called Terence.
It'd be Baby T. So what you've got to do with that name, you've got to see, right, you've got to say to yourself, is there a nickname? If there's not a nickname, did your parents, right, when you were Googling and giggling and cooing, did they call you Stuart?
No, I think I've got quite a lucky name, though, because obviously mine's Stuart. Stuart as an adult is fine. Stu is fine. Or Stewie as a baby is fine.
Exactly.
Like, it's got everything. But Keithy.
No, you can't. There's nothing you can do with it. You can call it KK?
No. No, you cannot.
No, I didn't put a third one on it, so it's just KK. AK?
AK, yeah, maybe. But
JK?
Like Ronald. Little baby Ronald.
Ronald? No, it'd be Ronnie. Little Ronnie. Oh, look at little
Reggie.
Like, you can imagine with
Ronnie and Reggie.
Like, Reginald, right? My grandfather, Reginald. You're not going to go, oh, baby Reginald. You're like, Reggie. Oh, little Reggie, little Ronnie, look at them. Oh, aren't they cute? Oh, little twins. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's fine. So, you've got to find a name. You've got to find a name where it hasn't got a nickname to it at all.
What about, you know, if it was going to have a kid like...
I've got a good one.
Jeffrey. Well, no, for baby names and things, I always like the idea of, you know, like real Titan-like names. Like Leviathan. That's such a good name until I realised that people call Levi or Levy.
Yeah.
But I don't want to call my son or daughter
I've got a great name
after jeans.
Atlas.
Atlas is such a good name, but then people will be like, "Oh, you like the globe?" Like, well, yeah, look up mythology.
Then you go, "Oh yeah, well done, you uncultured fuck." Move on. It'd be like the opposite, because if they take the piss, you go, "Oh, I'm not going to associate them now. I'm going to be a social elitist." If you're a fucking dumb twat, go away. In fact, you should use your kid's name as like a litmus test.
What, to see how they react to the name, whether
and then you know whether
they're
you
good
want
enough to be able
not.
to like hang around with.
Yeah, because a lot of the time it's true, isn't it? If people are fucking knobs about things or they're just ignorant, you know, I want to name a child Victor.
Victor is such a good name. Victor, Vincent, anything
Victor
like
with
that.
a K.
Yeah. Clarence.
No, it just reminds me of blood, like claret.
Luther
I like. Luther's cool, but there's no nickname. And I always worry, if the kid doesn't like their name, they need to have a nickname. It's going to be what? Lulu? Louie?
Sausage.
Sausage.
Oh, a name that really
Sausage.
gets on my fucking nerves is Nevaeh. I can't stand it.
I've never heard of it.
It
Sounds like Nivea. I didn't call them Nivea.
No,
Is that for men or for women?
No, it's Nevaeh because it's heaven backwards, and I don't like the association of that when people are like, oh yeah, my son's or my daughter's Nevaeh, it's heaven backwards, and I don't want someone else thinking that my child is heaven. Because no, it's not. You should keep it to your fucking self.
Yeah, it's like Matthew means God's gift. Alistair means defender of men. If you have to explain why you've called your child that, then it kind of ruins it, I think.
It is the French form of the English name Stuart. The French form of the name was brought to Scotland from France by Mary Stuart.
Yeah, but what does it mean?
I don't know. It doesn't really say anything like that.
Hang on.
A Stuart is the name of a cocky bastard who has reason to be cocky. The term originated in Toronto around 2003. It is unknown exactly as to who started the term, but it is commonly whoever's written this done it wrong.
Right.
Except the term was originally used to describe Stuart Allen. Oh my god.
Right, so it is a Scottish name.
Right.
Like mine. Stuart, the name Stuart, is one that has great meaning. The meaning of Stuart comes from the word steward. This name was brought over to Scotland in the 16th century with Mary Stuart from France. Stuart was used as the name of the official administrator of the household. So it's to be like the overseer, the steward, the temporary defender, the father of others.
Right.
See? So that's what
that makes me feel a little bit better. I don't feel like such a reprobate now.
See, Alistair is actually the Scottish version of Alexander, and they both mean defender of men.
See, that's just such a cool name. I want a
Victor
cool name.
obviously means victorious.
Well, yeah.
Well,
fair
no.
enough.
From now on, I'm going to give you a new name.
Are you going to name me live on air?
I'm going to name you live. Right? Yeah, I am, and I'm going to find something for you. So we shall continue, and I will find one.
Are there any kids' movies that completely scarred you?
Not kids' movies. Adult movies that I should have never have watched as a child. Yes. Kids' movies. Oh no, I tell a lie. The one, the only, the great Transformers the movie.
Well, that scarred you.
Yes, it did. Right. So in a dick move by Hasbro, they thought, oh yeah, we need to get some new lines of Transformers. How are we going to do that? Oh, we'll kill all the Autobots in the film that you've grown up to love, so we can have some new characters in there. They probably weren't old English men, but the point is
that you grew up with those characters, and then they just completely
and then
just destroyed them in front of your head.
They wiped nearly all of them out, and then Optimus Prime at the end. Spoilers, anyone, but give a shit.
If they haven't seen it 35 years after it came out, spoilers are fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I think for me, like, I don't know, there wasn't really many kids' films that I watched. I didn't like watching things like Bambi. Like, I wasn't really like a Disney sort of fan. Watership Down didn't really. It didn't affect me until later on. But the thing is, I've got a real thing about like animals dying. Like that's, I don't like it. I don't like it being around. Like, for instance, have you ever seen John Wick?
Yeah.
Like, that is heart wrenching. I couldn't watch it properly. I couldn't. And I Am Legend, like that. It's things like that. They're the only things that kind of really scar me. Like, I watched RoboCop when I was like 5, 6 with my brother, and it didn't.
You see, animals are.
It's just innocence. They're loyal.
They're completely innocent.
Yeah, and it's just pure cruelty. Whereas humans, like, I can watch, you know, like action films where people get shot up, everything like that, all the time. It doesn't bother me. I feel like they deserved it. But as soon as like an animal comes on screen and it gets even left behind,
yeah,
I'm sitting there like choking up, like, oh god. Like, John Wick was dreadful to watch. Apparently Marley and Me is a really good film, but I will not watch it because everyone sits there and goes, yeah, this happens. There's a really good website that I was told about not that long ago, and it's called doesthedogdie.com.
Right.
And basically what it is, you put in whatever film that you're watching, and then it will basically list all the triggers that, you know, the most popular triggers, and whether it's got it in the movie or not. So, for instance, you put in something like I Am Legend, and it'll be like, does this film contain over the top violence, and it will say no, but it contains this. Does the dog die? Yes. Does a horse die? No. And then it goes through, does it have clowns in it? No. You know, and it goes through lots and lots of different like triggers where people are like, oh, I don't want to watch it just in case. And it tells you what's in it, and it's a really cool, really awesome website. But like, for instance, if you put in Game of Thrones, it's just yes to everything. Except clowns, I think.
Well, I think there's been a jester in it before, so technically it's
Or maybe, yeah, but it's a really good website. But that's what I seem to go to for a lot of films that I'm not sure about anymore. Like Marley and Me, I could never watch. I could never do that. Even though it seems like a film that I'd probably get into. Because I do like animal films, like Beethoven and things. I think they're adorable. But I just...
Really?
Yeah.
What about Canine?
Yeah, love it.
Oh.
I just think using animals as actors is just so cool. Like, the films Cats and Dogs. I think they're masterpieces.
Wow.
Like, they're not...
I'm discovering a new side of you.
They're not great films, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they should win awards, but for what's actually in them, I think they're great. I think they're so entertaining. And it really kind of brings sort of personality to the animal.
Yeah, of course. If they do it right.
It's like, just brings it to a sort of fantastical level. You know that the dogs can't talk to each other.
Yes, they can.
A bit like in full Queen's English. But they have accents and stuff, and it's just, it's just great. Different dog breeds have accents. It's just great. Great entertainment. But for kids' movies that scarred me, Lion King, actually, maybe.
Simba.
Yeah, like when Mufasa, like when he lets go. Oh.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
I watched that in the cinema.
Yeah, same here. And I find
all
like
about the circle of life.
Yeah, Elton John's music in that film.
My dad died. I'm going to turn to drugs. Essentially, that's what he did. He went with two stoners into the jungle, got the munchies, looked up at the stars, and saw imagery in the stars.
Oh my god! Have you seen The Good Dinosaur?
Yeah, some of it with you. Funny enough.
I might have. Did I tell you? Did I show you the bit where they were taking drugs in this Disney film?
Yeah,
or Pixar film, or whatever the animated one it is. I can't remember who made it. But yeah, they sit there and they eat berries that are rotten, but then it turns into the most grotesque thing ever. If I was a kid and I watched that now, that would shit me the fuck up. Like, I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Don't they?
Yeah, but they're like there's all their faces contorting and oh god, it's horrible.
Yeah, but you say that, right? Old Disney films. What about Pinocchio? In fact, if you watch that now, it's really quite awful.
There's so many like hidden things in that. Like Alice in Wonderland, when she's falling down the rabbit hole, there's so many references to different things.
Right, from now on, I've got a name for you.
What's that?
You ready?
Yeah.
Now on, henceforth.
Am I allowed to change it if I don't like it? Or is this my actual name, that's it?
This is the one from the attributes of the name that I think you should have. You ready?
That you're bequeathing onto me?
Yes.
Okay.
Not queefing, bequeathing.
Bequeathing.
Thorax.
Isn't that throat?
It's an ancient Greek name.
For throat?
No. Actually.
I'm pretty sure your thorax is your throat.
I like it.
Oh no, between the neck and the abdomen.
Thorax.
I sound like a wrestler.
Hang on, any ancient Greek name, they're all wrestlers. Yeah. I played it when I did A-level drama. I played a character called Crayon. So he was an ancient Greek king.
Why?
He was the Archon of Athens. That's his name, Crayon. Greek tragedy. I can't remember which one now.
I bet he used to. I was gonna say, I bet he used to paint the town red, but crayons don't paint, do they?
Creon, the ruler of Thebes.
Oh, Creon.
Yeah, but Crayon. The drama teacher said it's pronounced Crayon. Apparently, so it's like, okay.
Let's just call it Crayola. Have done with it. Just that
I'm
waxy
trying to
dude
find
in the corner.
A noose. You know it's Egyptian for anus.
It's not Egyptian for anus. Okay, I've got another question for you, right? If someone asked to be your apprentice and learn everything that you know, what would you teach him? Like, what sort of skills would you teach him?
Well, at high school, I won the award for best excuses.
Right. What are some of your best excuses?
Well, when I was at school, we still had floppy disk drives in the computers. I really couldn't be asked to do an English essay.
Right.
So I got a floppy. I kept saying to the teacher, "I'm so sorry, something wrong with my computer. It doesn't work." And 6 months went by, and then I ended up putting the unfinished essay onto a floppy disk to give her so she could print it off. And put a bit of flint in there and some lighter fluid. And then when it activated the disk, it basically set it alight in the drive. I was very proud of that moment and surprised it worked. It did work.
What? So she basically like it set on fire, and it's like, oh, my essay's on there.
Yeah, and it just got all hot and did a bit of a Smoky Joe in the drive. Brilliant.
Wow.
So that's my only copy.
Well, and you actually got away with that as well?
Yeah, I got away with it.
What other excuses?
I got an extension on my essay.
Did you even finish it though?
I did in the end.
You actually did.
It was basically the end of the year. Yeah.
So it took you a year to finish this essay.
Yeah.
So you would teach your apprentice excuses.
They'd be the excuse master.
Because I think my apprentice, what I would teach them is being able to sleep in any position. Because I have fallen asleep in some really weird positions before. I've fallen asleep standing up at a metal concert, holding a drink.
You need to go see a GP about that.
No,
I was called narcolepsy, sir.
No. I was really tired, and I think it was like Lamb of God or something I was watching, and I was holding a Jack and Coke, and I was right next to the speaker, and I managed to like nod off, standing up. But the reason I knew I nodded off is because I just dropped the drink, and I was like, wow. Oh no. But I've fallen asleep on like the sofa. There was a time where I used to sit on chairs upside down.
Why?
I don't know. It felt good. You know, I used to sit there and I would lay on the bit that you sit on, put my legs up over the back bit, and put my feet on the wall. Even now, I fall asleep in some of the weirdest stuff. Like I've got those chairs that in my flat now, the ones that you are a real fan on.
Oh yes. Those.
You know, as soon as you sit in one of them, it doesn't matter what you're watching. I could be watching, I don't know.
I called it the Sleeper-matron.
It's anyone that's got any sleeping problems, just get one of those chairs. I should offer it out as a service.
It massages you without massaging you. It caresses you without caressing you.
It just supports you in every way that it could.
It's like a sleep siren.
Seriously,
it is. Yeah, so when you're sitting there, you sleep. It's just the sirens of sleep, just slowly caressing you through your ears, singing songs of sleep. Amazing. So I'm getting tired thinking about it now. I've got to stop it.
I could tell by your voice,
actually,
yeah,
I actually think that the chair itself is haunted. I'm going to tell you a horror story now, a ghost story about your chair.
No,
your chair's got. I'm going to. Your chair has a long history. 30 years. 30 years ago, there was this little girl, and she wasn't very old. She was only 7 years old, and she suffered with narcolepsy. And her parents were so distraught and dismayed by this because they wanted her to become a ballerina, but she kept falling asleep when she danced. And every night she'd come back from being a ballerina and end up sitting in that chair and being chastised by her parents. And one night they murdered her in her sleep in that chair, using the pillow of the chair to suffocate her. And now that's why I hear the haunted sirens of the little girl who wants to sleep. That was Haunted Corner, everyone. Her name was
because I think
Jezebel.
I might just move.
Her name was Jezebel. And henceforth, the chair shall be called Jezebel.
Jezebel. Okay, the comfy chair is Jezebel. The really nasty thing about that is there's one right next to me. And now all I can think is Jezebel is like standing looking at me.
If you sit in that chair and you ever hear a little girl humming a tune from a ballet, you will know.
I just got a message from my partner going, and I've shat my pants. And then I put, no, it fucking isn't.
But you know the worst thing about
the chairs are gone and we're moving home.
You can see the chair out of the corner of your eye.
No, let's not talk about this.
Sometimes eyes will protrude out of the back cushion.
No, because that's like some really bad 80s cartoon where they have like inanimate objects, they give them mouths.
Yeah,
And no,
it's an anthropomorphized version of the chair, but it's actually her
no,
spirit haunting it.
no, don't. I'm not playing that game.
How many 8-year-olds would it take to defeat him in hand-to-hand combat?
How many 8-year-olds do you reckon you could take in a fight in hand-to-hand combat?
Right, my theory is at least 100.
That's so different to me. I reckon I could take about 8 before they sort of manage to clamber up my limbs and then start ripping chunks out.
Let's take down the rules. Yeah, so you got the average 8-year-old.
Right.
How much does an average 8-year-old weigh?
Well, what's the average 8-year-old now? Because they're about 15 stone, aren't they? Because all they do is play Fortnite.
Well, let's assume an average 8-year-old weighs what, 6 stone, 5, 6 stone.
Yeah, I reckon.
And they're about what, 4'5" in height. Maybe a little bit shorter. 4 foot in height. Say 4 foot. So you got 8 stone. No, 6 to 8 stone, and we'll say 4 foot in height. Great. You can have a mixed sex there, so it won't just be boys; it'll be girls as well. Okay. There's some advantages to that, which I will go on to.
Okay.
So, field of battle. Let's say it's a park. You've probably got at least 20 meters between.
Sorry,
yeah?
I just punched the mic there. Sorry about that. It's a bit cramped.
So you got 20 meters.
Yeah. So we're not going for playground.
No, and we're going to assume these kids will fight like they play football.
Right.
Because the way the kids play football, when they haven't been in a team, they all run for the ball, don't they?
Yeah.
There's no tactics. So there's no tactics. First thing I would do, haymaker, whilst charging at them. Right? The amount of force my fist can make from, crime and punishment, I would say I'd take out, because you could assume they're all running at you, and it's a bit like a medieval column. You've probably got, I don't know, 4 rows there, maybe 5. You go split the row straight down. They're going to be discombobulated, not going to know what's going on. The ones I've hit directly aren't getting back up. They're either dead or knocked down.
The thing is, I can imagine you doing this, really badly. You just go whoopah.
You've got a 20-meter approach, haymaker. You charge at them. You charge at them with all your might. They're going to charge at you. You're going to take them out. What you don't want to do is stop. Keep moving, because the moment you get more than 2 on you clambering, it'll slow you right down. Then they'll just get you like World War Z.
I feel like that someone should make a survival guide that involved how to defend yourself against a platoon of children.
Yeah. So, and bearing in mind, there's no weapons, are there?
No, it's no weapons.
Right, that's fine. Now, as we know, human hair is very strong. So you do the haymaker through and you charge, right? Next thing you do, you find a girl. Normally they've got plaited hair. You grab them by the hair. You start using that like a flail or a warhammer. All right, so you're going to swing it. You're going to swing the hair. You're going to build up strength. And you're taking them out, and then you'll go down for a slam. Once you've gone down for a slam, that one's used up. There's not going to be any more. Either something's detached from the body, or the hair's gone. They've been scalped. So at that point, you can assume with the haymaker, you've taken out at least 20 of them. Once you've got Heidi and you're swinging her around,
it's the slam.
Yeah, because you swing, and when you start to lose momentum because you're hitting them, you bring it up and then straight down. Right? And it will create some sort of little shockwave. The fact that you're using a kid to take down kids is going to freak them out. But let's say they don't scarper, that they're immune to fear effects. So you've done the slam. You've done the slam, and at that point, you've got quite a few corpses, or they're unconscious. Then what you do is what I like to refer to as the tornado.
Right.
You pick 2 of the corpses up by the ankles, and you start to swing them. Build up enough momentum, right? Their arms are going to be flailing. You've got that extra reach there, plus they're 4 foot. So that's dual 4 foot plus your arm's length. You stand on the spot, and these kids just going to be coming at you. It will wipe them out, right?
It's just turned into Diablo and a barbarian build.
Yeah, exactly. If you lose momentum, drop one. Grab 2 hands onto the other. Keep swinging. and then whatever stragglers are left, you just launch it like a discus. Right, that body's going to be flat. There's arms and legs everywhere. That will wipe out the rest of them. And any stragglers, you can literally just fist on the top of their head, just thump them on the top of their head, get them down. They won't get up again. They're not tall enough. Done. 100.
But that's just.
And with the initial haymaker,
it was the visualising you slamming. Just doing all of this all in one movement. Just whoa, slam.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it would work. It would work, but because the body would be so wrecked after that, you can't then use it anymore. Move on to the next one, grab a new one, do the spinning helicopter trick, and that would work for small primates.
But we're basing that on if there's only 100. You've got to admit there's
the keys in the haymaker and the charge. You need to split the lines, create confusion, and then you make your own weapons.
You can tell that you've played strategy games a lot in your life, haven't you?
Yeah, you want to split the lines. Especially with when you've got a horde, you've got to think of
something so erratic and...
Yeah. You want to confuse them.
So you could take... I only thought I could take about 8 before they clambered me to the floor.
No.
But now, the way that you've said all this, a haymaker is the best solution right at the start.
Yeah, haymaker.
Put the fear of God in them as soon as it happens. As soon as they run.
What was that game you used to play where you had to hold hands and the person had to run and try and break the hands?
Oh, Bulldog.
No, there was another name for it as well.
Wasn't that it?
Something. It was called da 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 da. I choose you to come over. Red Rover.
Red Rover.
Red Rover. I choose you to come over.
What? And then they have to run through you, run through your ranks.
Yeah. It's it would be a health and safety nightmare now. I actually had a fight with a guy at primary school, and it's one of these fights where oh yeah, you're a knob, and so we had this fight, and it's all about using your environment, especially with Krav Maga, which I knew about when I was 7 years old, and I was bearing in mind this guy was at least a good foot taller than me, and I'd say probably 20 pounds heavier than me. And he was swinging some punches, and I was blocking them. It's a true story. So I thought I had enough of this. And I ran at the goalpost, grabbed it, swung round, and hit him in the face with my feet. And I've got witnesses that will attest to that, if you need witnesses.
I don't need witnesses, but...
Let me put it this way. He went down. He didn't come up till the bell rang. Job done. Use your environment. And I could say, I could triple that 100 horde of children to maybe 500 if I had a jungle gym and some other accessories. Change the battlefield. Change the game.
A jungle gym.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So if this was set at a playground, not a park, a playground. Yeah. So you've got swings, you've got climbing frames, you've got all things like
that.
The
kids are coming at you. Yeah. You've got a double swing. Grab the swings and you hit them. That's 2 uppercuts. They're going to fall back, hit the rest down. Right? That alone.
And then you could then think about bottlenecking as well, because usually in playgrounds there's only 1 or 2 entrances.
Exactly, it'd be 300.
And the only ones that you'd have to worry about are the really athletic ones that jump over the fences.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's ways around it. There's always ways around it. Think of a merry-go-round. Generally speaking, merry-go-round, you get that up to a good speed. They're not going to be able to move you. Your feet are like pillars. You just keep throwing them into it. They're going to go, they're going to flick away and break the necks, whatever. Once it starts losing speed, you just speed it back up again. You just throw them onto it.
The amount of damage that you could do by just throwing a kid on one of those.
Yeah, it'd be like the ride of hell for them.
Have you seen those videos on the internet where people get those little roundabout things, but they get motorbikes?
Yes.
And they just accelerate, so these things go at such a speed. And then all of a sudden their arms flail back and they start flying off.
Yeah, and they're just off like a torpedo. In fact, you could do it with the ones you've already knocked out. You could spin it and start using it like a machine gun. Just drop them on, they'll fire out the other end.
Like a mortar launcher.
Yeah.
Boom. Done.
Yeah, exactly. See? So environment is everything.
So 100. I don't think my tactics would be anywhere near as elaborate and as entertaining as that. I think my one, I would go for the initial first punch, right? And then I would try my hardest to just scream at them.
That's not going to work.
Oh no, but the thing is, if they're like coming at you, you know, there's nothing. I found that one of the most intimidating and like quite shocking things that you can do to someone is be in someone's face and change that quickly to a scream. Like
true, but then you've got to assume that they're going to run away in fear. We have to take fear out of the equation. It's a fight to the death.
Oh yeah, no, it may be a fight to the death, but fear is always going to be in there.
Your beard's your weakness.
Yeah, I know that. I'll be burning that right off if I see him coming. Be like, nope, you're not grabbing onto that. I'll strip naked. I think that's what I'd do. Right? I know that sounds weird, but if I was going to get attacked by so many hundreds of kids,
I'm sorry,
right?
No.
I just no. There is a good reason for this. I promise you, it's not weird. I'm not Rolf Harrising or whatever.
As long as it'll hold up in court.
Yeah, no, of course. But the thing is, if you've got like so many kids that are trying to grab you and pull you down or anything, I don't want any loose clothes. I don't want I don't want any kids to be able to get any purchase on my clothing to pull me down. You know, so I don't want anything. That's what I mean. So the beard's got to go. The hair will have to go. Everything.
Yeah, but you could use your clothing as an advantage. Trainers kick them off at them.
No, but that's their single shot. That's the single shot weapon there.
Yeah, but that's sometimes all you need is discombobulating to get an advantage. Remember, deception is a big part, and theatricality. You mustn't forget The Dark Knight or Batman Begins in the combat. So, what have you got in your pockets? Backy, lighter fluid, light the back in your hand, blow it at them. They'll think you're a dragon. You think just screaming at them when you can actually breathe fire. Theatricality and deception, powerful tools.
But no, I'm still staying with mine. I'm pretty sure it's only going to be about 10. Because they'll get on me and they'll just pull me down.
Smoke them, create a smoke screen.
No, they won't do that. They'll probably ask me for one.
And another tactic you could use if you think you're just going to get one, find one of the girls in the crowd, just wind them up. One that you think can run fast, right? They'll come at you faster, grab the hair, and just use the momentum to swing it back like a torpedo. She ain't going to go forward, like she'll go sideways. She can take out at least a row of 5, plus the ones behind. The ranks will fall. As they do, and they're trying to get up, you run over them. You're stamping on them. Taking them out.
You're taking this as if you're a proper general.
You've got to think of any combat situations, life and death. Otherwise, it's not combat. It's just touching each other.
Okay, well, let's move on, man. Let's move on. Because I could just tell that this is just going to be a gore fest. And the fact that we're talking about taking on, like, children makes it a bit wrong.
There was that film, wasn't it? They go back to the park and take all the kids on. They come down the helicopter.
Is it not Anchorman?
No, Step Brothers.
It's Step Brothers, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you take them out and just replace those two with you and some slams...
Yeah,
we've got video evidence of what you would do. Okay, what's the coolest animal to scale up to the size of a horse?
Coolest animal? Right, okay, so can it be an insect?
It can be anything. Scorpion. Why is that cool, though?
Because I would ride it like a horse as well and think I was in Golden Axe.
No. You've got to think of it from both sides. What happens if that is not tame to you?
No, I'm a scorpion whisperer, it'd be fine.
No, but what if you're not?
No, there is no what if. If it's what... Oh, yeah, but hang on a second, right? It's like anything you scale up to horse is going to be deadly. Can you imagine a hedgehog? A hedgehog, right, would have like spines the size of like
pool cues.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that would be good scaling up to the size of a horse that isn't potentially threatening. Imagine a tarantula.
No, let's not.
Okay.
Let's not imagine a tarantula because that'll stick with me for fucking days. Oh, do you know what? I just made myself like nearly shit myself. Right, not from the tarantula, but can you imagine if wasps and hornets were the size of horses?
I'd ride them.
No, do you know what? If all of a sudden they were like, oh yeah, wasps have now turned into like the size of, you know, small dogs. Not even the size of horses. I'd just top myself. I'd just be like, no, because I could not deal with the shock of it. I couldn't do it. Like bees and wasps are upgrading their technology, right? And then they're putting more and more funding into like research, because 5 years ago, right, bees and wasps were a normal size. And I saw one about a week ago out the back of work, and I'd shit you not, it was the size of a fucking Fiat Panda.
That was a hornet then?
No, it was a bee. It was a bee the size of a fucking can of Coke.
That bees are fine.
But when have they ever been that size?
They have been that size.
No, they have not. I do not care what anyone...
In other countries, and they come over with the vet. Mate, I have seen some crazy stuff on my travels around the world.
I'm sure you have, but what I mean is in this country they have never been the size of a fist.
But they come over in the fruit sometimes. And we've got a port right next to us. So you can imagine the kind of insects we get in there that aren't necessarily native to this country.
No. I don't want to think that.
Mic off.
I definitely... Oh.
You just think, we'll go down to Landguard 4 and...
Hold on, wait a second.
Mic off.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. What you guys would have just heard is I'm wearing a headset. Right? And every time that I move my headset, if I accidentally touch the button, you'll hear the orgasmic noises of a woman saying mic on and mic off.
Oh, no, that seriously doesn't come through the feed, does it?
Yes, it does. And I just did it twice by accident. So, yeah.
Mic on.
That's one.
Mic off.
There you go. So we're going to keep it at that. That's the last time. So I'm sorry if you heard that before. My partner's just messaged me saying, if you scaled up a miniature pony to the size of a horse, wouldn't it just become a horse? No, but you got to think of proportions.
No, yeah,
it's the proportions because miniature
you can get
donkeys,
small horses, and you can get ponies. Ponies have tiny little legs.
Yeah, but miniature ponies have tiny little legs. But if you put them to the size of a horse, that's going to be like a fucking building. It's going to be built like the Hulk.
It'd be
but these tiny little like widdly legs
and a giraffe.
Yeah.
It'd be literally, it'd have these massive stump. It'd be like, a rhino and a giraffe kind of together as one.
A rhino.
So what would you scale up then?
I think it'd be quite cool to like I was going to say upscale, to scale up things that actually are beautiful creatures, like seahorses. You know, imagine like a seahorse the size of a horse. They're nice looking creatures, but obviously if they weren't in water they would just fall over because they can't do anything. I'd quite like to see dogs the size of a horse. You know, like pugs or like miniature dogs the size of a horse.
Scary.
No, I don't think they would, because they'd still be as loyal and as friendly. They're still dogs. You know, nothing would change like that way. But I tell you what, I wouldn't want to see.
Imagine a pug the size of a horse humping your leg.
Yeah, but it wouldn't hump my leg.
Yes, it would. It's still a dog.
No, it wouldn't. I would literally be its bitch. There would be no leg humping.
Yeah, exactly. You would be its bitch.
Its penis would be finding or creating its own orifice in my body.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it wouldn't do it. I'd just wear armour.
This giant lipstick punching you in the face constantly.
I used to have a dog that was like that. You literally, if you looked at it, like the dog was called Billy. If you looked at him funny, all of a sudden you just get a massive rock on. You're like, put that away. Anything, or if you had a go at him, like if he'd like been naughty and you started shouting at him, all of a sudden this giant fucking red hand came out, and you're like, ugh, put that away. And then sometimes you'd be laying there and he'd be like laying next to you, like in a weird way.
Nervous rager.
Yeah, but what I mean is your arm will be there, and you know it will just happen to kind of like imagine like it's just sitting next to you, but like the legs are on you, and you move something like, and you just feel this warm sort of thing just gradually creep onto your arm, and you're like, what is that? Like, well, that's really funny. And you look down, it's just this lipstick, just to this dog, and you're like, you are rubbing your dick on me. Why? I would like to see dogs that size. I wouldn't want to see the lipstick like that comes with it.
Yeah, see.
But on the other side of that, what animals would you want to see scaled down?
Lion.
Well, you want to see it like a pocket-sized lion?
Yeah. I'd want to make a tiny little zoo. Tiny little zoo.
Well, not like a little ant farm or anything, you know, with real animals. You want to make a circus, if anything.
No, it's proper little zoo with little shops and little pens. That'd be brilliant. Like a lion as big as my nail.
What would you feed it?
I'd probably just shave a bit of skin off my finger.
That is disgusting. No,
it's meat.
Stop it.
It's meat.
No, it's rank. That's what it is.
Shave a little bit off. You know the bit around your cuticle where you keep...
No, stop it. Stop talking.
It'd be like a massive
Stop it. No. Naughty. Things like that make me feel sick, and you know it makes me feel sick, and you bring it up on purpose because you know I'm going to gag.
You asked me what I was going to feed it. That's literally what I do.
What happened to like bacon bits or something like that?
No, it'd be too big. You just want to. You want to.
No, you just get a pork steak or something, and just cheese grate it. None of this like, oh, feed him a bit of my finger, feed him a bit of my skin that's all around the nail. Yummy. No,
Yeah. Just get a box cutter knife and shave a bit off.
you need to stop. My God. It's like I can't stand people that like when they cut themselves, they like suck the blood out.
Oh yeah.
No,
It runs
it's
through your
rank.
veins.
No, I don't care. It tastes like shit. What would your superhero name and power be?
Well, you see, there's the boring superhero powers,
No, you don't want any of the boring stuff that other people have done.
and I was thinking to myself, no. And then I thought the best one that I'd like would be like, oh, what's the guy's name where he can it's multiple man?
Multiple man.
Yeah, and I wouldn't work.
But you
I'd
just
just
have
make-
like
I'd
copies
just-
of yourself, just like
Yeah, and the copy would be like, I'm only supposed to be out when we're doing, superhero shit. I'd be like, no, you're gonna go to work for me, mate. Sorry, game over. Like,
yeah,
but
you do
mate,
that. I'm
I'd be
sitting
like,
here.
Yeah. And I'd have multiple jobs. I'd create like hundreds of these multiple men, and I'd put them in really shitty jobs at minimum wage, and they'd all do them, hundreds of them.
Oh, I see. And you would receive the income.
Yeah. And
So
at the
you-
end of the day, they'd go into nothingness, and then when they came back again, they'd have to go to work, and all they did was work. And there's nothing they could do about it.
But I suppose they wouldn't even think for themselves because they wouldn't
No,
be
they would.
sentient.
Yeah, they'd be clones of me, but I'd have control of them. But they'd know that I'd have control of them. There's nothing they could do about it. It'd be terrible. It'd be like slavery.
What would your name be? So it'd just be multiple man, would it?
Yeah, I think. Mole Man's a bit obvious. I'd be called like
Carbon copy.
crayon the clone man.
No.
Or- yeah,
That sounds like a character in a kid's story.
does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Captain Crayon the Clone Man.
I did put Captain.
No, did you not?
No.
No, Carbon Copy is well a good name.
Oh yeah, carbon copy crayon.
No,
Carbon-
no,
Oh right.
no Creon.
Okay. Yeah, carbon copy then. But it'd be like a really good superhero power, but I'd use it for something really, really wrong. I think that's the way I'd go. For example, the other thing I'd do, if there was someone I really didn't like, I would make a clone copy of myself right in front of their car so it thinks they've killed me. And they'd go to prison for it, and I'd go, wait.
No, but they
Get
would
rid
know
of the
who
clone.
you are.
Yeah, but they'd think I'm dead. I'd make sure my clone stayed dead. And then I'd just absorb the clone back in once they're in prison.
I don't think that's going to work, man.
Or, for example...
Because then
It would
legally
be-
you would be dead. Because legally you will have a death certificate.
Okay,
So
well,
you
I just
wouldn't-
made them think they'd killed me, and then they hadn't.
Oh, so you kind of go for more the mental side of things. You scar them.
And you know how they can make a car out of Lego?
Yeah.
I'd make a car out of me. So like two people for each wheel. I'd make them do pistons, and they'd all have to connect, and it'd be like a flesh car, and I could get into it. Like one would just be a door, and I'd drive around in this car, which would be made of me. And then when I didn't want it anymore, it'd be like a really wrong version of it'd be Green Lantern, but I can only create objects out of myself. So it would just be
No,
me.
the thing is, though, is that the more that we talk about this, the more it's actually quite a feasible thing.
Yeah, but I want to create a boat. So it's just loads of me linked together really tight, having to hold on, and a sail version of me, and a motor, maybe not a sail, but a motor instead.
No, you wouldn't
Where-
need a motor. You just you'd produce so many different clones behind you, all kicking their legs,
Yeah, exactly.
that it would produce
But
so
like the
much
ones on
power.
the bottom of the boat would be where they'd drown.
Yeah. But then you would keep creating more to take their place.
Yeah, exactly.
So, for instance,
So-
if there's someone burning in the top of a building,
I'd
what you could
create a
do,
flesh ladder.
you would just cast more and more clones below you that would push you up in height.
Yeah, but I'd never use it for that.
What would you use it for?
Like if someone was burning in a building,
Gangbangs.
I'd create a flash camera. Take a picture.
Would that work?
Yes. It's
You've
my
got to
fantasy.
elaborate.
It's my fantasy. It would work.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's a lot of to do with light and moving parts inside and film, or if if it's digital, then there's got to be some sort of electronics in there.
I'd find a way.
You'd make a camera out of all of your slaves, but then just have your phone that you could take a picture with.
Yeah, but I'd make them it'd just be the opposite of narcissism, and it would be narcissistic at the same time. I'd live in a house made of me. All the furniture would be me. Think about it.
Okay, well, thanks for listening. There's not really much else to add on to that. I hope you've been entertained for the last however long this has been.
Also, I hope that you've learned something through this journey that we've just had.
This has been a bit of a journey.
There's been life lessons, there's been comedy, there's been a plethora of different emotions running through me.
And information.
It's just everything in one wholesome package. It's like a breakfast bar for your mind.
It's like a breakfast bar, really underwhelming. But it's got sustenance.
Yeah, it's full of protein, full of energy, full of goodness.
Full of goodness. Well, anyway...
It's like a Pop-Tart. It's like a Pop-Tart. That's what we're going to do. Pop-Tart.
Sweet and overpriced. That's right.
Alright.
But yeah, you can check us out on SoundCloud. We at this moment, we haven't actually made a SoundCloud. But if you're listening to this on SoundCloud, we did it! Yay! If you're listening to this on YouTube, it'll happen soon, if it's not there already. We're on Twitter as well. We're actually Modded Gossip, if you don't already know. We haven't advertised that because this is Beans Above the Frank. We've got a YouTube channel, obviously Modded Gossip. Go over there if you want to hear us talk about technology and crap and games and shit. It's pretty cool. I'm Stu.
I'm Ali.
And this has been Beans Above the Frank, I guess.